Let's talk about the 7-5 New York Jets, led by
Jets, Jets.
led
Sorry.
by Joe Namath incarnate, Mike White. Well, actually, I don't know why I made Joe Namath die, but he's still alive. But Mike White, aka the next Joe Namath, is traveling up to Minnesota, take on the Vikings, who are 9-2. Puma, who you got to win this game, man?
Jay, not only do I have the Jets
Same here.
plus
Same
3
here.
as a best bet, I have this team is
Let's
a
go,
very
Jets.
live dog in this matchup on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. And Jay, I was thinking about this earlier, and the comp that I have on how this team is, kind of rallied around Mike White in his stints as a starter is honestly like akin to how Taylor Heineke has rallied that Washington football team, Washington Commanders team. And, you look at the reports coming out of the locker room post game against the Chicago Bears, and everyone seemed to be like, essentially saying like Mike White knew what his role in this offense was and to get the best out of everybody. And it made me think of this clip of, I think it was like one of the few times that Chase Young was mic'd up in his rookie season. And, that's where the Heineke kind of came from. And one of the poignant lines was, number 4 is operating. He'd been paying attention. And he was like, you're a baller, like, kind of get after type of deal. And that's the vibe I'm getting from this New York Jets team is everyone seems to be rallying around this dude. And Jay, look at that. Like Elijah Moore kind of had a resurgence and found the end zone for the first time last week against the Chicago Bears. And it kind of stuck out to me when, the New York Jets defense, which in my opinion has been playing at a elite level for the season thus far, they kind of came out the first half against the Bears and really laid an egg against like Trevor Siemian. The Bears were kind of having their way. But Mike White rallied the team, put points on the board, and I'm sitting there thinking, if this is Zach Wilson, like they're probably down 17 points going into halftime. Like this team just seems to be operating at a different level. Now to get to this week's game, you have Sauce Gardner, who's going to have the get your popcorn ready type of matchup against Justin Jefferson. But I think the Jets are going to be able to move the ball through the air. The Minnesota Vikings, for as good of a season that they have been having thus far, on the defensive side of the football, we talked about in the last segment, they made the Pats look like the greatest show on turf. They're ranked dead last in passing defense. So, Mike White's going to be able to move the ball. Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, is going to have a day. I think you're going to see a lot more of Elijah Moore. And I'm going to go out and say, if you need help at the wide receiver position, I wouldn't turn my nose up at Elijah Moore this weekend. And the backup running back, Jonathan Jones. If I'm butchering his name, I'm sorry, but James Robinson was a healthy scratch last week. They're running. Michael Carter had a bum knee, so this running back here, Jonathan Jones, I'm pretty sure he filled in admirably, and I think he's going to get a lot of work this week. So, dude, give me all of the Jets. I know the line has kind of been set as like a sucker bet at Jets plus 3, but I think this is a very live dog to win this game outright.
Well, I find it so funny that after Mike White leads them to a win, and let's not forget, he led them to a win in a little bit of a rainstorm.
It was downpouring, bro.
It was downpouring. The conditions were tough to throw in at MetLife Stadium. Rain, wind, and he still made it look so easy and effortless. And at the end of the game, he's having a post-conference, a post-game interview, and all of his teammates come around. They're hugging him. They're cheering him on. They look happy. Like Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore look happy to actually be on the field catching passes from him. Like Robert Saleh was saying something like he makes the easy look easy, which is basically a direct shot. Which is a direct shot at Zach Wilson and I truly felt that Zach Wilson was holding that team back. Like if you look at the stats with the Jets offense without Zach Wilson when he's been hurt, that Jets offense has been at the top 6 or 7, I believe, in offense efficiency and ranking. And with Zach Wilson in the lineup, they're the bottom 2 or 3. So it's a drastic difference in how Zach Wilson was holding his team back. And I think Robert Saleh, we're still talking about it being the right move. He had to make this move, and I think these guys are on the beginning of a potential playoff run. Now, I think they're going to be able to go up there and carve up that pretty horrendous Vikings pass defense. If Mac Jones is able to go out there and look like Tom Brady, basically against that defense, I'm sure Mike White will have no issue at all. The key is obviously on defense. You've got to stop Justin Jefferson. So I am looking hardcore to see how Sauce Gardner matches up on Justin Jefferson, because the conventional theory is they're gonna play him mano a mano, man up, right? And a lot of teams have a disadvantage because they've got to roll coverage to Justin Jefferson, or bracket him, or double him, or whatever they got to do. They've got to put so many resources at Justin Jefferson that people are wide open, right? And in that Patriots game, you saw the Patriots got burned because they put Jonathan Jones single coverage on him in the first half. But in the second half, they overcorrected. They put too many resources towards Justin Jefferson's side, and there's people like Thielen running wide open on the other end. So we're going to see what the game plan is with the Jets, and they match up perfectly against this offense. They can stop the run with their front four without blitzing. They can put pressure on Kirk Cousins. They're going to obviously be able to, I think, potentially hold on Justin Jefferson with Sauce Gardner. I think the Jets are going to win this game, man. This is going to be like the fever pitch in New York on Monday is going to be like at a new level because they beat a 9-2 Minnesota Vikings team.